Sometimes I feel like the last few years of my early 20s have mostly been governed by things happening to me rather than me taking the initiative and making things happen for me. I sometimes feel like I'm waiting for permission to act, waiting for someone else to suggest something, or waiting for some moment in the future when it's going to be the right moment to do something. I feel like it is way too easy to live our lives on autopilot, to ignore the internal cues of our intuition, and to just go along with what other people sort of expect of us and what we feel we ought to be doing, rather than what we really truly want to be doing with our lives. And so I'm deciding that in the next 180 days, I'm going to regain a sense of the confidence that came so naturally to me as a kid. And I've decided to set myself a challenge to create my dream life. I really hope you enjoy coming along with me for the next 180 days and beyond and see where we end up at the end, because there's nothing I love more than a little challenge, especially one which is so fun and so creative and has so much potential. So it's out with letting things happen to me without any intention behind them, and in with intentionality, purpose, and fulfillment. So in this video, I'm going to set out the sort of person and the life that I want to achieve by the end of this 180-day challenge. I'm going to explain why 180 days, and I'm going to show you my 3 90-day goals for the next 90 days, the first half of the challenge. I'm very excited about this, and I would love it if you could subscribe to follow along for the rest of the videos where I'm going to be documenting experiments and challenges and reflections and mindset shifts that have been going on as I move towards my dream ideal self. There'll be loads of timestamps in the description so you can skip around and jump to where is most relevant for you. Let's dive into the video. Okay, welcome to the video. If you're new here, I'm Lucy, I'm 24 and I live in London with my friends and my girlfriend. And I thought to begin with, I would give a bit of a context, a bit of an overview, and sort of explain like how we got to here, why now, why this challenge, and sort of tell you a bit of the backstory. So as I said at the very start of this video, I feel like it is so easy for us to live our lives on autopilot and to just go with the flow, to go with the motions, to be in the rhythm of our day-to-day lives, and to forget to set the time aside to sit and to think about where we want to be headed. And I feel like for me, this point in my life is a time where I could very, very easily be on autopilot and just go through the motions and not really be intentional about what I want my life to look like. Because over the last few years, I've had quite a lot of external changes. I've finished uni, I went travelling around Southeast Asia and Australia with my friends. I then moved to London, I started a new job, now I'm in a different job again, and it sort of feels like now is the time where I can be quite settled in the sort of life that I'm living at the moment, because there's no sort of external changes happening. There's no sort of external drivers to changing my behaviour or to shifting my course, because I'm in a new job and I'm living in the same situation. Like, things are fairly stable in my life at the moment. And so I feel like now is the perfect time for me to be a bit bolder, to expand, and to have this as a real sort of time of growth and like figuring out what I want. So for me, I'm just like really excited about this chapter. But I want to say that I feel like even if your life feels very, very busy or feels like there's so much going on, that could also be a really good time for growth and for trying new things and leaning into new opportunities, because there's a lot of different things coming up. You can sort of have a lot of growth happen quite quickly. But like I was saying, I really want a new chapter in my life, and I would love that chapter to be full of intention, full of purpose, full of meaning and fulfillment, and for me to sort of carve out a life that I love to live, and to use this time to sort of go after those bigger life goals that I've always wanted to do. I just feel like this is such a good time to go after those goals and go after what I really want out of my life. So, why 180 days? This feels like a very specific number, but basically, I love the idea of 90-day sprints. I've done some of these before. I'll link a video here, which is my previous autumn 90-day challenge. That went really well, and I'll speak a bit more about my reflections from that at the end of the video. But essentially, I feel like 90 days is a perfect amount of time for there to not be enough time that you get complacent and it doesn't feel urgent, but also enough time that you can actually act and that you can see the effects of your actions. And so for this challenge, I'm setting myself 2 90-day blocks. and the first set of goals are going to be for the first half and the second for the second half. So I'm sort of sticking to the 90-day framework, but allowing for more of a long-term vision with the ability to still sort of recalibrate in the middle if I need to shift things slightly. Okay, so these are my 3 90-day goals for the first half of the challenge. The first one is to expand and explore my self-concept. This is an idea that's still fairly new to me, but I would love to see the potential of it and see how I can implement that in how I see myself. So essentially, a self-concept is the thoughts and ideas that we have about ourselves. It's all of the thoughts that go on in the background that we don't necessarily analyse or acknowledge. They're the sort of intrinsic beliefs that we have about ourselves. But because of neuroplasticity, our brains are actually very malleable, and we can in fact shift our self-concept through conscious thought and changing our beliefs about ourselves. And I feel like this has so much potential and so much power to change how you see yourself and therefore how you act and how you show up in the world. And it's just something that I'd love to explore. So I'm sure there'll be more videos coming about this. But yeah, my first goal is to sort of explore and expand my idea of my self-concept. To give this a bit more structure and context, I've broken it down into 3 sort of sub-goals. The first one is to work on my self-coaching, and this is basically the ability to observe your thoughts and shift them, because your thoughts have so much power over you, as this says up here. I love this little quote. The second one is to back myself and just to have a bit more like self-trust and self-belief in what I'm doing and in the values that I have and how I show up in the world. I just want to feel a bit more like empowered and like I trust myself. And thirdly, listening to my wants and my needs, because this is something that I typically ignore, because this can lead to my social battery feeling pretty depleted and just feeling like I don't have enough energy to do the things I want to. So I just want to be a bit more like aware of what my wants and needs are and to respect that and try to accept whatever they are. My second 90-day goal is to refine my YouTube niche and to create 10 videos about this goal. And this is in fact the first video of those 10. So made a start on that already, I suppose. What I've realised in the last few weeks or months is that my content on YouTube is pretty all over the place and doesn't really have like a consistent theme or a consistent niche sort of angle that I'm going for, and it just means that each video, while the video quality is improving, they're just a bit scatty, and one person might be interested in one particular video and then not the next one, and it just sort of feels a bit all over the place. So I want to be more intentional with how I'm spending my time on my YouTube channel. And so within this goal, firstly, I'd love to refine my niche and sort of develop my unique angle and my unique value to offer. Secondly, I'd love to create a system that helps me to do this, because at the moment I'm just sort of like grabbing little random bits of time and trying to make a video out of that, and the whole production process takes quite a long time. So that is my second sort of subsection. And the third subsection is to improve my sort of crafting of the videos, and that encompasses the scripting within it, the storytelling, the packaging of it, like the title and the thumbnail, and making sure they work well together, because it's a whole process, and it's really fun to sort of figure out what works and what doesn't work. But I would love to feel that I'm genuinely improving on that front. And if I have created 10 videos in the next 90 days on this theme, I will have achieved this goal. So that is my aim. My third 90-day goal is to make remote working work for me. I've just started a job which is entirely remote, which is quite strange, and it's a bit of an adjustment, and it's definitely got like pros and cons remote working, but I'd love to sort of lean into the advantages of being able to be very flexible with where I work, using my lunch breaks effectively and being out and about to work in different cafes around London and to go and like meet different people, etc. I don't know. It just feels like it's quite a good opportunity to explore London a bit more, to use the freedom that I have from the job that I have well. And currently I think the main thing holding me back on this front, which is one of the like sub goals within this one, is that I find myself worrying too much about whether I'm doing a good job or whether I'm like doing enough. I want to develop, like with the first one, basically a bit more like trust in myself. I want to find 5 different places that I really like working in and that I know I've got sockets and good Wi-Fi and natural light and all of these sorts of things. And thirdly, to sort of be very focused when I'm working so that I'm using my time productively, and to then switch off and have that sort of good division between work and life, and being able to be present in the work mode and then present in the non-work mode. So those are my three 90-day goals for the first half of the challenge. I'm very excited to see where that will take me, and I just sort of hope that I have a bit more of a holistic life that's like crafted for me rather than just going through the motions and not being intentional about how I'm choosing to spend my time, because at the end of the day you don't get that time back, and I really want to make the most of all of the time I have and make the most of the opportunities, because yeah, it's just so fun like living in London, and I want to make the most of that. So this video is the first in the Creating My Dream Life 180 Day Challenge series. I might have a more snappier name in the title of this, but essentially I am going to be documenting parts of the process as I go through this. So let me know what you want to see. Let me know if it's more vlog style, if it's more speaking to the camera like this, if it is voiceover videos where I'm out and about in London showing you what I'm getting up to. I'd love to hear what you think, and I would love to know if you decide to set some 90-day goals of your own, what they are and what you're working towards. And the final section of this video is going to be me reflecting on the last 90-day goals that I set. So I set these at the start of September for up till now, and I'm pleased to say that I've done pretty well. So it's sort of proof that the 90-day system works, at least for me. But I have this little goal planner which has 3 90-day goals in it. I would definitely recommend it. I've loved using it. I'll leave it linked below. It's by Yop and Tom. The first goal that I had was to land a new job in a climate focused role that I'm excited by and that pays well, and I have definitely done that, which is amazing. I've been in the job for about 6 weeks now. I also had some time off before I started to go and do some travelling with Freya, which was amazing, which was our trip to Vienna and Prague for a week. So that was so much fun. Really glad we got the opportunity to do that. The second goal was to learn to value autumn, which is a bit more sort of a internal goal. And yeah, I feel like I also did this pretty well, because I used to absolutely dread autumn, and I feel like it's just a season where you're on the come down from summer. The days are getting darker, it's getting colder, it's more rainy. Like, it's not for me, but I have definitely learned to enjoy it more. And it's sort of a piece about accepting what things are rather than like wishing them to be something else. And I feel like I have definitely learned to value the coziness of autumn and learned to value the time for reflection and for feeling your emotions, and the like slower pace of things. And within this I was sort of encapsulating the inner autumn, the like autumn of my menstrual cycle, which is the part before you start your period, where you're sort of more tired, you're lower energy, you might be more emotional. And for me that's typically like more of a challenging part of the month with hormones and emotions and stuff. So it was also about learning to accept that and learning to work with myself rather than against myself. And yeah, I feel like I've definitely made progress on this, which I'm very happy about. And the third one was to post consistently on YouTube with one video every week. I didn't quite do one a week, but I did make 10 videos in this season. And I made a video for my cousin and her new husband documenting their wedding day, which obviously is not public on YouTube, but it was a video that I was really proud of and like really pleased to be able to make, because it's just it was such a lovely day. It's great for them to have that as something to look back on. While I might not have like hit all of my goals for this, I feel like I've definitely made progress, and I've definitely made more progress than I would have done if I hadn't set this as a goal. So yeah, the power of goal setting. If you set like a lofty goal and you reach 80% of it, I feel like that's a win in my books, and I'm happy with how things have gone. Okay, that's everything I have for you today. I'm very excited about this challenge. I can't wait to see where we end up at the end of it and to create my dream life. If you enjoyed this one, you might enjoy my previous goal setting video where I explain a bit more about 90-day goals and that whole method. Or if you want to see more from my London life, I have a recent video where I'm documenting going to try different cafes around London to make the city feel a bit smaller and like I know where to go in different areas of London. But sending you lots of love, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day, and remember that today is a great day to begin.